Okay, so like I was saying in the part before this, I have no idea what part I'm on. I am not keeping track. I'm gonna make a bunch of parts. Maybe make two more parts. Maybe because this should be something like what? Part three? No, part two or part three of the agenda or your agenda thing. Okay, so I left off on the part. I left off in the last one about like no, you can't look at life like what you call it um. Am I supposed to be saying at this point I'm Predator S, director of the Illuminati government, president of the Illuminati government, director of the Illuminati rather, and welcome back to um, the Your Agenda topic of, give me a minute here, making your bus, box truck, etc. Nomad life series. Yeah. And please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and contact me at the email address that's in the video description so that we can make arrangements for you to be able to help me in whatever ways you can help me. Or it's also in the about section, the email address. Until I don't have links yet, but you know that already if you've been watching the other videos. Isn't it funny though? I'm just gonna jump off topic for a second. The topic that wasn't the topic, but isn't it funny how back in the day when you used to watch TV shows, for those of you who are old enough to remember TV shows, you had to wait a couple of days or a week or longer sometimes for the next episode, so somebody didn't have to keep saying, what was I gonna say? Okay, so people would say, "Welcome back to this, and this, and this," and you didn't have you didn't have the internet where you had these videos and stuff up, so it's not like you would find a part like part 4 and start playing it. You couldn't do that. So like if you find a part on the internet, it's like it says part 4 for something, or episode whatever, or part this or whatever episode rather, and the person just continues talking from the one before that, you're just sitting there like, what the hell? And so that's because there's the internet now. That didn't be. You just somebody would just say welcome back every time you saw the next episode the following week. You couldn't run into something. What I'm trying to say is you couldn't run into something that was already made later instead of running into this thing you need to be watching now. So it's like I gotta remind myself to keep saying welcome back, even though maybe I don't have to do it like that, but I think it's better professional, right? Or more professional. Trying to look at things from the perspective of a person who watches videos. I don't mind either way, kind of, sort of. Anyway, though, where I was at, which, you might say isn't part of the topic is your agenda, for when you want to do bus life or whatever, but this is after this is the whole first topic after the intro part, and so I'm looking at things from a perspective of what I went through, what I'm going through now, and how all of that can apply in hindsight. There's a better way for me to say this. Let me just say it. Let me do it like this. Okay, imagine if after you've led your life, your full life, and you're maybe about to cross over to the other side, we'll say it like that, and you have time to think, like, man, what could I have done differently? I wish I knew this back then, or could have done that, or this, or this, or this, right? So now, your whole life, if you could make your younger self, your infant self, if you could make your whole life a part of, not a part of, but something where you as an infant can know it or see it, experience it ahead of time, then the topic kind of doesn't matter, right? It's just that you're like, oh, okay, I know that when I reach this age, this is what I should be doing or not be doing. Okay, when I reach this age, if I do this, this is going to cause this to happen to me at that age. So that's a good thing. But this other part of it, or this other thing I did, isn't good. So it's taken away from what I would have achieved, what I would have achieved at that age, by that age. So no, so you can't really, I know some of you remember being a baby or whatever, but you can't really judge every single person the same as being an infant or even a zygote or a spirit before you come to this world or whatever you were before this world, because some people remember being where they were in their past life and maybe lives before that. But if you could know this stuff, so that's what I'm saying, like, you know, I'm the type of person, because of who I am, what I do, and all this stuff like this, where, you know, I'm like, all right, well, I can't make the YouTube videos the way I want to, but my different way about me and all that stuff like that is something I think that nobody else exactly is. And my experiences and all that stuff, no one else, you can't find that anywhere else. You'll never find that anywhere else. And so that can help someone else at their particular point in their life. So, you know, I'd said in the other video, like, I was going to say I don't make my videos for kids, but I would, you know, I would have my kid watch everything I do and be a part of everything I do. I think everything. And so, because that's important. You the little tiniest things, what people don't realize, what maybe you don't realize, the tiniest things you leave your children out of are the reasons they don't get somewhere in life. Is the reasons they make mistakes and all this stuff. And you can't say, you know, people say, oh, the error is human. That's not necessarily true. Humans err because humans don't have information, or because they have information and they don't act on it, or because they have that information and they go against it. But the most important part of it is not having information and just having to wing something. You know what I mean? Like 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, whatever it might be, I'm gonna sit here. I might come back and watch some of the videos I've made and be like, oh my God, what was I doing? Or I might come back and watch them and be like, wow, yo, this is like the greatest video series I've ever seen in my life. No one's ever done anything like this. And I'll be able to say either people really appreciate it because maybe I'll be rich and famous and all this stuff like this and save the world, or I'll be able to say, oh, you know, people didn't appreciate it and you just didn't see it. You know, those gems that you miss out on. And maybe some people, they get to be elderly and he's, oh, let me sit down and watch whatever's going to be out at the time. It's going to be holograms and all that holograph. And you could be watching, run across my stuff and be like, oh my God, I wish I'd seen this when I was younger. See what I mean? So you might be right now packing. Again, see how quick time flies? Look at this, 8 minutes in. It's like I haven't said anything, but I'm saying something so important, so much so important. And this is a moment in time. Like, other things are happening in the world while I'm talking to you. And those are all being recorded, whether you realize that or not. You know, iceberg melting, you know, south of me, and freaking trying to think, should I say Tasmania or whatever. And so, you know, all these things, you know, that are going on around the world are being recorded. And so you're sitting there packing, you're like, hey, I'm trying to watch these videos that's going to tell me about bus life. This guy, I'm going to get past this video because it's not telling me. Trust me, you want to watch and listen to every single word, notice every single gesture I make. Try to make eye contact, or at the very least while you're doing something else at your house or at work or whatever. And I highly recommend that, I was thinking about this the other day, that you guys play these. Like, if you own a bar or own I know there's going to be a bunch of drunk people saying crazy stuff about me, but if you own a bar, if you own a restaurant, if you own, you know, a hair salon, a this or that, where, you know, you play stuff in the background, like TV shows or music or stuff, put my stuff on. You can put my music on too. I would love that. I curse a lot in my music, but like, okay, you know, my video stuff or whatever, put it on, because people get stuff out of that. I'm not about, we'll say it like this, I'm not about I don't. We can't curse. I don't want to curse, and I want to say something where you understand what I was trying to say. I just say garbage. I don't talk about garbage. That didn't even. That I hate replacing words. Anyway, I don't mess around. That even sounds better to me. I don't mess around. And so, even though, like, look, 10 minutes has passed so quick. I brought this in from the whole thing about. We'll just go back to that part. I brought this whole thing in from the part about like how important you are as a person or whatever. And so you have to start there. Like, okay, so we'll make it like this. We'll tie those two things together. About the whole thing about the show with the guy committing suicide and how people shouldn't. And we'll tie it to where you are right now. We're making assumptions that you're either thinking about doing bus life, changing careers, being a nomad, any of these things like this. The first thing that's the most important thing is there we go, mental health. See how I said if I knew how to put things in shorter sentences real quick? And I have to take if you've been watching all these other videos, you realize that I showed you my cereal in the videos before this, and how long ago was that? And I'm still holding the bowl. What was that? Oh, the cereal. I thought something was in it. Still holding the bowl and haven't taken a bite yet, because I feel that would be rude. But I like when I watch people on shows eating, but not talking with their mouth full, but eating and then talking, because it mixes it up. So, okay, let me try that, and then I'll come back to saying that thing I was saying. Someday, people are going to be like, yo, I like that guy so much that if he just chews on a video, I'll watch it. Hold on, I'm going to close this bowl because this is crazy. You got to keep bugs from getting in your food, right? I'm not going to sit here and eat through the video because it takes up too much time. Mental health, right? Where are you at? That should have been like one of the first topics. Of your agenda. Like the next time somebody says your agenda to you, if you've been watching all this, you're going to be like, yo, that could be comprised of so many things according to this dude, Predada S. Okay, your mental health. Are you thinking clearly? Wow, it's funny how this like falls into place. Look at this. That's because that's what friends and family do to you, right? They say, listen, what? You wanna go live in a bus? You wanna live in a car? Don't do that. I'm telling you, don't live in a car. Or van. Don't live in a van. Nothing small. I've said that in my other videos. This, mental health. Let's start it there, because that will drive you insane. And you can't accomplish anything. It will tear you apart. And I remember I can't remember the particular young lady's name, but there's a young lady who made a video because she did van life, and it pretty much ruined her life, according to her. I tried to reach out to her. So if she's watching this video, I'm not going to say her name because I can't remember it. And if I could remember it, I wouldn't say it, because you know how crazy things are these days. You can't even say a name or something. It gets all complicated. Not like that back in the day. I loved the world better back in the day, even though it was more racist. It was a different kind of racist. It was just better in certain ways. And so, this young lady was like, hey, people were talking about this, all this, go live in a van and this, and I tried it, and I left my job or whatever it was, and her place, I think she left her place, and then everything fell apart. And so I reached out to her, like, if you're watching this, she'll remember my name, or she got to remember the guy who said he's in the Illuminati, because how many people do that, right? And so I tried to reach out to her. I guess this is my opportunity to say something for her to hear versus just seeing something written, because I know how different that is. And so, I was trying to reach out to her to say, listen, don't hold it against the nomad life thing. If done correctly, right, with the right agenda and with the right things going on in your life, that's a bad way to put it, but with the right things going on in your life or whatever, then this is the best thing you can ever do. And so I was saying mental health. Okay, so let's tie that together with the her thing. So like, I was trying to say to her, reach out to me, because even though I can't help myself, what I've found in my life, I'm always that guy that you can talk to who gives you advice, and next thing you know, you're a billionaire. We'll say it like that, because it's happened. I know it's happened. We'll just say it like that. I haven't had confirmation on that except from one person, but no, it's been more than one person, but not a lot of people. But with other people, I know there's things I've said to them that was like, it came in handy, and if they had never met me, they wouldn't be exactly where they are. But I can't get there myself because of what I am and what I'm in and all the stuff like that. Look at there. Real quick, only 3 minutes and something seconds left. You'll see me always talking about that because I hate how time goes so quick when I'm talking about it. It goes real slow if you're picking up garbage all day. So, my thing is I wanted her to reach out to me. And, I've contacted a number of you out there. So as people start watching these, a number of you will be like, hey, that's that guy from the Illuminati. He's making a lot of videos now, even though he had the Predada S one and you guys never watched that stuff. But for the motorhomers now, all of a sudden you're watching it, and it's like, okay, oh, this is kind of how he is. And either you'll love me or you hate me, whatever it is. But I try to reach out to her to help. Like, because once you're, this is like, how should I say this? It's like, okay, we'll say, I guess I can say it like this. Making this decision and going about doing, we'll say bus life. Don't do van life, don't do car life. Do large bus, big, long, the longest ones you can find, longest box over cab, moving type trucks that look like the Class C's, Super C's that you can find. That doing this type of life is like getting involved with organized crime, in the sense of once you start doing it and you leave behind your home, if you sell your property or move out of your apartment, give up your apartment, and you have nothing to go back to as a base, then once you're in it, you're in it. That's really almost what it is for most people. Hold on. Got to keep track of what's going on around me, Anyway, for most people, look at that, less about a minute. So I'm going to go into another part. It's going to be probably like 3 or 4, whatever that part is. So I want to remember where I'm at, right? I'll just keep it going without, because this is kind of a good vibe. For most people, it's like getting involved, and the reason I say it like that is because once you get involved with organized crime, you kind of can't leave. Nobody, it has you stuck there, right, for like ever, and it can involve your family and you like your immediate family, like your children and stuff. Even if you don't have any, you will end up involving them, and it definitely involves anybody who's close to you. And if your van, your bus life stuff, truck life, whatever, starts going bad, it's going to affect the lives of the people around you. And you'll lose friends. Trust me on this. You'll lose almost everybody, if not everybody. So, and that's a good rollover topic too, because talking about your agenda I'm trying to start the whole your agenda thing off from the perspective of, what do you see? Why do you want to do this? What is your goal with doing this? And with regards to how it's going to affect you, and maybe what most people don't think about is your life and the world around you. And so when you step into this, think about it like that. Like people start doing organized crime because they're like, okay, well, I'm not doing something violent. I'm not doing something violent to somebody. I'm just trying to do something where, okay, if I get in trouble, it was an upscale type of thing, but I made money and I tried to make my life better. So now let's hold that thought, and we're going to come back and go into another one.